The problem with mainstream academia is that they just can't know. Academia is the pursuit of finding out, and they catalog parts, pieces, and mechanisms all day long while refusing to say what they mean. I'll tell you why at the end, but first I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All of our mainstream theories are based on data that we interpret. And the foundation of every one of our mainstream theories are assumptions to begin with. Academia is an institution made up of institutions with power structures and money. Research requires funding. Academia is like a church or a priestly sect, the priests being scientists. It's not a new religion, it's the oldest world religion. Modern science is the same religion as the Sumerians had and Babylonians and Egyptians. It's just evolved into what it is now. This religion has always revolved around nature and its forces, they worshiping the creation rather than the creator, trying to gain immortal life here in the flesh, on earth, by worshiping or studying the stars and everything on the earth and everything about it. They're trying to find out the limit of the heavens and the depths of the earth. Astronomy and seismology, quantum physics, the depths of the earth. Not physically, but the foundation, what's the reality built upon? With the agenda being to live forever, to retain power and the world's wealth. That's what's funding the research. Here's a secret of longevity. You notice how I didn't have to name any names or accuse any person of anything to tell you all of that truth? Wise as serpents, yes, but gentle as doves now. That's how we do it. The Indo-European theory is based on the linguistic evidence. There is language, and that is evidence. But it's of a shared, reconstructed language called Proto-Indo-European. They made that up. Reconstructed based on their interpretations of the data, coupled with their agenda that they most certainly have. They are men, aren't they? From which various languages spoken across Eurasia are descended. They're trying to make sense of how the European languages are so related to the Indus Valley and so different at the same time. So they made some assumptions and came up with Indo-European theory. This theory is supported by linguistic comparisons, sound correspondences, and more recently, ancient DNA analysis. There are two competing theories as to where this started and how it spread out, and they're both wrong, as new research indicates that it's more complicated than these two theories even allow for. So you got places where people have been for a long time, that's called archaeology. You got languages they speak now, that's linguistics. And you got DNA that tells the story of who they're related to from ancient times. And all of this is built on assumptions like junk DNA is a term for regions of DNA within our organism's genome that do not code for proteins. Here's the assumption I'm talking about. Initially, it was believed that this DNA was non-functional and did not serve any purpose. It's junk, it's leftovers, we don't know what to do with this. However, research has revealed that much of this junk DNA plays crucial roles in regulating gene expression and other cellular processes. While the term junk DNA is still used, why? Because this presents a problem with Indo-European. It's becoming more clear that non-coding regions of the genome are essential and not simply rubbish. New research indicates y'all's theories are nonsense from the beginning, based on assumptions that were not true, which is the continual history of academia. Progress always coming from the fringe, those fellas they don't invite to the party, bruh. That's the law of distribution anyway, so it must be so. The anomaly, never mind. Something so different from the outside that even though the group exerts all pressure on it, they can't change it. What happens as a result of this chemical reaction? They are all changed instead. Science! I am the enigma. You cannot kill me. I already died. Strike me down and I shall become more powerful than you can even imagine. They can go on send me to heaven, after which point they'll have a much harder time of it, of this I am certain. Indo-European theories attempt to explain how the European languages are connected to the Indus Valley with Iran in the middle. You don't have to go back very far in history before this becomes a total mystery. Don't worry, there's plenty of archaeology and we have methods to date all of this stuff. The problem here is that all of our dating methods are built on, guess what? You can say it, assumptions. They're assuming that the decay rate of certain radioactive isotopes has been constant forever, knowing that time and space are inseparable, and that time is dilated by gravity, and that absolutely everything in reality displays wave function. And we already know from relativity that time does speed up and slow down, like this. And everything confirms it, including the 4 seasons. When things are hot, the vibration is faster. When they're cold, the vibration is slower. This is called summer and winter. Time speeds up and slows down. When you sit in a chair and then get up and walk across the room. Oh, don't even get in the car and start driving. Now time is passing far differently for you than everyone else. Relativity. We already know these things. These are what are measurable and observable, so that assumptions like the decay rate of radioactive isotopes has been constant forever is absolute garbage. Already known to be. Nothing is static. Everything is wave function. Everything. And so they'll never even invite me into the room. I'm gonna say stuff like this. Oh no. You can't fire me. I'm not a hireling. Uh-oh. I'm dead and my life is hid in God with Christ. You can't even see me, except through this veil right here. Deep time is a total illusion caused by gravitational time dilation. According to mainstream academia, the planet's been slowing down the whole time. That would definitely affect how time passes. They say it revolves around the sun. They say that that's been slowing down the whole time. That's definitely going to affect how time passes. The core of the Earth has slowed down so much, they say, that it appears to be spinning backwards, but this is an illusion. It's just going so slow, which would definitely affect the way the time passes on the Earth. The sun goes through cycles, minimum and maximum, every 11 years, which definitely affects how time passes on the Earth. Summer and winter definitely affects it. Other dating methods are built on assumptions which are false, provably so. Let's talk about the language real quick. Proto-Indo-European language family that attempts to explain with linguistics the connection with all these people right here, with these people right here, and also the people down in India. While also including these people right here. They call this Phoenicia to avoid calling it what it actually is. You see? Well, that's what the Greeks and Romans called it. So? What? In the land of Canaan, there was a diverse group of people. There was no country called Phoenicia. They weren't a united peoples, they were different folks. The Canaanites, Tyre and Sidon, the Phoenicians. The Canaanites had a writing system. It's called cuneiform. The Egyptians wrote in hieroglyphics. All the rest of these people wrote in cuneiform. The Hebrews had an alphabet. Where could Indo-European have originated? We ain't writing in cuneiform, are we? Agenda, I said politics. Here's an example. The earliest written examples of Sanskrit are inscriptions from the 1st century BCE. 100 BC? Such as this right here. These inscriptions are written in Brahmi script and represent a transition to classical Sanskrit. The language itself, particularly Vedic Sanskrit, is estimated to be as old as 3,500 years. Wow. The earliest form of Sanskrit used in the composition of the Vedas is estimated to be from around 1700 to 1200 BCE, which is a fancy way of saying 1400, more likely 13 or 1250. Any claims that it's older are purely political. Knowing that the Vedas were written by Aryans from Iran, Indo-European, Iran being the connector. Proto-Canaanite is not Canaanite, they were using cuneiform. Proto-Canaanite is Proto-Hebrew, showing the evidence that they were slaves in this region right here, controlled by Egypt, being that their language was scratched on the walls of the mines and such. Praises to their one God. It's not a mystery. The alphabet is Hebrew and shows up in the land of Canaan in 1400 BC, when the 12 tribes of wandering Hebrews, as recorded by the Egyptians, enter into the land thereof and take over. Tyre and Sidon did fall, it just took a while. The Bronze Age collapse tells us the whole tale of Indo-European proto-languages. It's not a mystery. A time of chaos and upheaval where empires fell and were found no more, to the point that the academia denied that they existed at all. The Bible told us the tale, though, and when we dug it up, sure enough, it was all there. At which point they were forced to reinterpret their data. Oh, that's who the Egyptians were talking about. And history confirms all of it, and I do mean the archaeology, the languages. And I'll leave you with one undeniable example from my own notes. The Jordan River in English, the Yarden in Hebrew, seems to be a mystery how it got its name to academia. But the Hebrew prefix yar is a root word with various meanings, including to fear, to revere, or to be afraid. Can also be associated with forest or grove, reverence. We also have the Yarkon River and the Yarmuk River. You can see academia has a hard time with the etymology to know what this means. They suggest Yar is a prefix so that the Jordan River means the river Den, Yarmuk the river Muck, the Yarkon the river Khan, the Yardan descending from the city of Dan, a tributary of the Dan River, after Dan conquered Laish and renamed it all in 1400 BC. There's more.